if a tree falls in the forest and no one is around, does it make a sound?
The short answer, yes.
Yes.
I would say yes, it does make a sound.
It depends on the definition of sound.
Yes, it does make a sound.
So the answer to me is maybe.
My thought would be that it does.
Yes.
I think it definitely does make a sound. I just wonder, does it matter?
This philosophical question has been around since the 18th century when Bishop George Berkeley first asked it. The answer is still debated, and we were curious as to how different people in our lives would answer it.
So the tree falls in the forest, it moves the air and makes airwaves. However, sound is defined as when the airwaves hit our eardrum. And so if there's nobody there, it doesn't hit anybody's eardrum, so it doesn't make a sound, but it makes airwaves.
Sound means that it has to be interpreted, so it's just an airwave until it hits an eardrum.
Even though no one's there, there will be a sound, but the difficulty with the answer is then that we're used to having some kind of proof or evidence.
Everything that we have studied, we've been there to witness. Regardless if we were in the actual environment, we've witnessed it. But if I'm not there to experience and no one else is there, how do we know what occurs in reality? We don't. Well, there's another view presented that's the idea of solipsism, where nothing else exists but us.
In the book of Genesis, it says that we are made in the image of God. And so that's how we're privileged. That's where I meant it comes from these Judeo-Christian religions. And to me, this is all silliness. The Bible in itself is a human construction, and so humans telling themselves that they are so important and they're made in the image of God. Without them, a tree doesn't fall in the forest unless it's witnessed by a human. It's all a bunch of silliness.
It might reflect broader tendencies in society, namely like Western society, to see humans at the center of everything as like the most crucial subject, as the only subject actually in a way, and everything else is like an object. So yeah, I think it could be indicative of a broader kind of anthropocentrism, I guess, like a human-centeredness.
I believe it's Berkeley presents the idea that, he says it in Latin, but to be is to be perceived. Which means that material objects cease to exist if there is nobody there to perceive them. Essentially, we are the only thing that creates this world in existing in the way it is.
Of course, your actions matter. Your actions always, in fact, I almost think they matter more if there's no one there to witness them, because then it says more about you. Because very often we do things in front of people because society tells us to, or we don't want to be judged, or we're trying to make a point. But the actions that you do on your own when there's no one there to witness, I think says a lot more about who you are as an individual.
I think it's interesting because I guess the idea of, do my actions matter if nobody sees them, or also equally thinking, well, I'm changing my actions because people see them.
I think this question is actually more spiritual than philosophical, because it has to do more with the idea of karma. You know, if you perform an action in the world, what consequences does it have, or how does it affect other people?
Be a good person whether or not anybody's watching, I'd say.
If we look at it from a philosophical perspective, if nobody witnesses what I do, this undoubtedly can have many implications. For example, it could have an effect on me, and then, you know, through the butterfly effect could affect everything in the world.
It's going to have an impact, you know, even if there isn't somebody there to hear it, there's always going to be impacts. There's going to be changes that happen because of that.
Humans, we think we're so important, and we're a tiny blip on this massive rock that we're living on, in this massive universe we're a part of. And if we can slow down and remember that, then we can see that what we do has a ripple effect, and it isn't about us.
Your actions matter a lot if no one's there to witness them, in my opinion.
I think nature matters whether we're here or not. I have a feeling nature is probably going to outlast human beings as well. And that kind of thinking is what's leading to all the trouble on the planet, that humans matter more than nature. And so if we change that thinking, the planet will survive. And who's to say that the tree can't hear its own sound? Or perhaps the other trees can hear it. I mean, it's very likely. Well, it's possible that other trees can hear the sound as well. Just because we can't hear it doesn't mean that it's not happening. We need to think about it in the opposite way. If we make an action, if we make a choice, do the forests hear it, or does the ocean hear it? And the answer is yes.